Okay, it's Monday, November 21st, 2022, back for a review. And let's jump right into looking at the dollar index to start us off, just like we did yesterday. I'm going to go over what happened today and then give a little preview of what I think might be in store for tomorrow. So let's first start off with what happened today. So if we start at the dollar index, yesterday in the forecast for the week, I marked out this weekly high, previous week's high, and I really wanted to see how we would react around this level on the lower time frames. I said that if we had been showing some support off of the monthly level, that's what this yellow level is, and that we're still maintaining a overall bullish structure as of now. That doesn't mean that this can't fail and go lower, but I wanted to see heading into Monday today, I wanted to see how we would react around this level because I didn't know if we were going to just sneak above it and then reject, or if we were going to impulse and hold above it, which is what we ended up doing. So if we look at the 4 hour overnight in Asia, very strong candle, very strong push above this high, and held it. We did not get a rejection back down. And so when I woke up around New York Stock Exchange open, I liked the odds of shorting risk assets to see this strength in the dollar here. Keep in mind, we do have this imbalance right here that could reject and we could still go back down. But for the time being of Monday's trading, I was certainly more confident in leaning bullish on the dollar and bearish on indices. So with that said, let's go into NASDAQ. I said on the daily that I was keeping an eye similarly on the previous week's low because I wanted to see, similar to dollar, how we would react if we would impulse below it or not. And as of now, we can see we haven't even approached it. We haven't even hit it, whereas dollar hit that high. Let's look at how the day unfolded. So if we take a look at the 4 hour chart real quick, where we ended last week, Friday spiked this equal highs into this imbalance and then sold off. And then I said yesterday in the forecast that I was gun to my head leaning bearish to start the week on NASDAQ. So once I saw that dollar had pushed up above that previous week's high, I was certainly even more, that was another point in favor of leaning bearish here on NASDAQ, as I said. So Asia, the market opened on Sunday, spiked the high one more time, went sideways, sold off, and then at the beginning of New York, it took this short-term high into this 1 hour imbalance, and that was where I was first looking to get short. Unfortunately, I did not get an opportunity. Now, this is why I don't like to trade the first few minutes of the open. I like to wait a bit because we did get an initial rejection here. So I love this. We see this rejection down. I'm sure it enticed a lot of people to get short. They put their stops at the high of the session. And then what does the market do right away? Goes back up and takes those early sellers out. And then we get this displacement back down. So we get this move, this gap. This would have been the optimal sell for today, where we take this high. There's a lot of odd stacking in the favor of shorts. And then we could get in right here on this candle and this dip back into this imbalance. And then we could have sold and held for the rest of the day. I didn't do it because this is not enough of an impulse for me. I like to see at least over 50 points or 60 points. The more the better, but I have a kind of a minimum. I really don't want to go below 50 unless it's really, really clean. And this was close. I might need to bend the rules a little bit because it had all the confluences going for it, but I didn't take it. So I was just watching for the next move to get into. Okay, so here I have the S&P, the ES chart, and the trade I took today was actually on ES. And it's very similar price action to NASDAQ, but I thought it was a little bit cleaner. The reason why I like this a little bit better, we have the previous day's low right here, which had not been taken. On NASDAQ, we had already taken Friday's low before the New York Stock Exchange opened, as you can see. So on S&P, at this point, this was before New York Stock Exchange opened, we'd not taken Friday's low. Anyway, what was the trade? So the trade was this. The market took these highs just like it did on NASDAQ and sold off. Left this imbalance on the 15-minute chart. So NASDAQ did not have, this was key for me, NASDAQ did not have this imbalance on the 15-minute chart. S&P had it. S&P also had a very nice breaker level here. Market rallied up, took these highs, sold off, broke below, and then we have this imbalance on the 15-minute. And then if we also shift down on time frames, we can see it on the 3-minute, we can see it on the 2-minute, we can see it on the 2-minute, and we can see it on the 1-minute as well. So for me, we've got a lot of things in favor here. We've got, let's just add it all up really quickly. We've got the market on Friday had taken Thursday's high, sold off. Monday, we have the DXY already breaking above previous week's high, looking impulsive. So we lean short on this just off the bat with our bias. Then we take the liquidity here, this high, into this gap. We sell off. We form a swing high, close below the middle candle. So this is a retest of this 1-hour order block as well, with the 15-minute imbalance, with a target that has not been hit. So I felt very confident now taking this short, which I'm about to get into here. So the market on the 1-minute comes back up. Same thing happens on the lower time frame. Takes these highs, shows this little imbalance displacement here. So this is where I got in. I drew it out like this, something like that. Entered there. Stop was, give it a little bit of breathing room. And then I went for, it was a 2R, but I think I had a little bit more because I think I got out a little bit lower. Yeah, it was something like this. And, you know, I had to sit through a little bit of chop and then this little drawdown, the spike up. But I just had no reason to close the trade or get out of the trade. It just was a very clean with a lot of confluences stacking together. Let's look ahead into tomorrow. Again, if we go back to dollar, I really am going to need to see this to hold. If I wake up tomorrow and price is broken through this, I'm going to be much more iffy. Yes, it can come back down. There's an imbalance here. It could come in down and then react. And if it does react strongly, then that might change my view here. But I really want this to just kind of be the bottom here of this move, and I would love for it to continue higher. Otherwise, I do think it's possible that price just kind of comes back down, back into this range, and we sort of stay range bound. We have the Thanksgiving holiday, so it wouldn't surprise me if that happens. So on NASDAQ, though, until dollar fails that level, I'm still going to be leaning bearish now after what happened. And I can see if we look again at this little range of the bodies. So we had several days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days where price closed within this range. It attempted to poke above it and below it a few times, but could never break this range until Monday. And we get the daily close below. So that might be a sign that we are going to roll over here. And I'm not looking at, as of now, I'm not really looking for this to come down here and bounce. It could, definitely could, but I'm more inclined to see this move above here as a liquidity grab to come down and attack these lows down here, to at least challenge them. We have these lows down here, and if we start rolling over, this is where I'm going to be looking for price to go. So we'll see. You know, this is a little bit messy now. Apologize, but heading into Tuesday's trading, this high kind of sticks out. I wonder if it comes up above it again. Doesn't have to. We've got this imbalance right here. So let's see. We're now building a nice little liquidity pool. You can see that we're kind of wedging here. So maybe we see something like this and down. Who knows? We'll have to see what it looks like, but I'm leaning bearish until proven otherwise. I still wanted to see, though, how price responds around last week's low. If we see this kind of probe below it and reject, and dollar is losing that gap that I illustrated on the 4-hour, then that would make me switch to become a little bit more bullish, and would make me look for longs. But until that happens, I'm going to assume that this level is going to be targeted, and that we might even go below it. Just depends on how impulsively we break. If it's a nice clean impulse, then I'm going to look for continuation. If it's just like a showing weakness, I'm going to sit on my hands and wait for more, because we could just consolidate around it, and I don't really want to be involved in that type of a market, most likely. So that's it for tonight, and good day overall, and we have a little bit more information on where we think price is likely to go for Tuesday, and we'll just have to wait and see. All right, that's it for tonight.